and thank you for tuning in to this 14th episode of S.A.L.T, Sharing and Learning Together, a combined class project of Master of Divinity second year and Master of Arts in Clinical Counseling first year of Oriental Theological Seminary. This video is part of our learning journey under the course and Introduction to Pastoral Care and Counselling, where the participants are all students and therefore this content should be treated for educational and awareness purposes. In today's episode, we will be discussing a very important topic, premarital counseling. It is interesting to know that despite the differences in our cultural or religious beliefs, we all understand that marriage is a lifelong commitment. We all hold that the vows we exchange must hold true till death parts the couples. However, the sad reality is we are fast losing the sacredness and the meaning of one's vows. We will be talking about premarital counseling, which is often overlooked, but it is a very crucial step in building a lasting marriage. Premarital counseling can help the couple prepare themselves for a future life together. Our talk will shed light on what and the whys of premarital counseling, and if you are intending to get married or wants to build a strong relationship with your spouses, stay tuned till the end. For this very important discussion, I have with me Ms. Zokolo Puyo, Mr. Imli Tanki Chamir, and Ms. Manle Konyak. So to begin a discussion on this premarital counseling, can one of you kindly enlighten the viewers or give an understanding of what we mean by premarital counseling?
Premarital counseling is a type of therapy that will help the couple prepare for the marriage by resolving their relationship issues, able to identify their strengths and weaknesses, able to understand each other better, and develop strategies for future challenges and preventing them for future challenges. It is also like a checkup for the relationship, where couples can address potential issues before the problems becomes bigger. The goal is to prevent the need of marriage counseling later on. In short, it helps the couple to build a stronger foundation for a healthy relationship.
Well, thank you so much, Zokolo. I think what you just said has really clarified for us what premarital counseling is all about. Usually when you talk about counseling, many things comes to mind, but hardly premarital counseling, so thank you for that. And I really like your point that you have just stressed, that it's a checkup for relationship. I think that really drives home the point of what premarital counseling really is, because we understand that it's more of a preventive measure rather than a healing process. So thank you so much for that. Well, oftentimes, we overlook the value of things because we are not aware just how much they mean to us when we have it. For instance, we only tend to realize just how important our health is when we are sick. So even in marriage, we tend to take things for granted. So much of our time is wasted in preparing for marriage, but we hardly invest time in premarital counseling. So can one of you, Zokolo have already given us some of the benefits, but can one of you again give us some few more benefits of practicing premarital counseling before marriage?
And some benefits of receiving premarital counseling will strengthen their relationship, will improve their communication skills, will be able to establish healthy decision-making process, will able to solve problems together, will able to prioritize and value each other, and also reduce worries and uncertainties about your marriage.
Okay, thank you for giving us those very helpful pointers, especially the benefits of practicing premarital counseling. I think those points are really helpful, especially when it comes down to communication. Most marriages break apart because people fail to communicate properly. So I think if premarital counseling help us to communicate with one another better, then I think it's all the more very important why we should be seeking premarital counseling before entering into marriage commitment. So thank you once again, Zokolo. Well, the importance of it cannot be overstated. I think it is better to enter a marriage with some realistic picture than to be disappointed later, because we all know life, or for that matter, marriage in particular, is not a bed of roses. However, when we talk about our society, especially our Naga context, all our resources, both human and financial resources, we spend so much in planning for the marriage ceremony. Everyone in the family member somehow gets involved. All our resources, our energy is strained into what kind of decorations we want, the venues, the kind of food, but very little is done to prepare the couples to face their life together. So in this context, I'm just curious if we are practicing this premarital counseling at all in Nagaland. So if the answer is yes, how are we practicing it? And what are some of the effects that we see for lack of practicing such premarital counseling here in our own social context?
Okay, an interesting topic, something that we believe is really important for the couples, not just for the couples, but for the families, for the entire for the church and for the entire community, because in our society, counseling is new. It's a new concept, and for that matter, premarital counseling is again a new concept. But in our context, like you said, we invest our time, resources, money, manpower into preparing for the wedding, only for the wedding. And but the question is, are we preparing for the marriage? That's the question that we need to ponder about. And of course, in our context, when two people gets married, the families come together, come together for meetings where they discuss and lay down, certain norms, obligations, and duties for the couple. But and again, the family members, the pastors, the offer premarital guidances, but it's minimal. So in that sense, it is practiced in our context, but not to the extent of strictly professional counseling. Okay, now coming back to your second part of the question, most of us we assume that love solves everything, and there are no serious conversations about roles, responsibilities, finances, values, or even or how to handle conflicts, and that becomes a problem. And we cannot say that premarital counseling is the only way for successful marriage, but that helps. And then when there's no premarital counseling or preparation, several possible issues may arise. One can be unrealistic expectation from the spouse, like many couples assume that marriage is easy, romantic, or smooth, but when real life challenges arises, they become disillusionized, and the second problem can be communication problem. So we all know that communication is the most important factor in any relationship, and many couples don't know how to handle disagreements as well, and that becomes a problem. That's where premarital counseling comes in again. And financial stress can be a factor, because it's not easy to run a family, or or so to say, it's really important for the couple to know how to handle money, and when the couple enter into marriage without that knowledge, or without knowing how to handle that becomes problematic as well. And one of the issues in our context is interference of our in-laws. So when there are no certain boundaries set, the interference of the in-laws can be a problem in the marriages as well. And one of the and again, one can be emotional immaturity. So if one of the spouse or both of the spouse enter into marriage without with low self-awareness, that becomes problematic in the sense that even the slightest of problems can become a big issue. So all these issues can lead to conflict, can lead to as you can see, as you have stated earlier, can lead to divorce and premarital counseling, like our sister Aju said, it's like a prevention from for divorce. So that's where premarital counseling comes in dealing with all the problems.
Thank you so much, Emily Tankade. Thank you for very clearly giving us the contextual reflection, also the status of the premarital counseling here in our state. Like you said, it's a relatively new concept for us, but keeping in mind its importance and also the consequences that possibly might arise for the lack of it, I think there's an urgent need for us to really push this premarital counseling, importance of premarital counseling into our marriages. So thank you so much for that. We as a society, we cannot live in isolation, or for that matter, we are not free from the influence of the world that surrounds us. And keeping in mind that today we are living in a very digitally advanced world, and people are constantly defining their values, and marriage is not free from the influence of the modern world. And I think with marriages breaking apart left and right in the cultures that we see, especially I'm not trying to be judgmental here, but especially from in the Western world, when we see that marriage is just taken as a form of without taking any seriousness, just couples living together, just coming together and then getting divorced whenever they face any sort of challenges that you have already highlighted. I think keeping those things in mind, and the need for premarital counseling all the more arises. But despite this importance and despite the need to have this premarital counseling, many couples shy away, or at least they think that they're ready to face life together, and they think that they don't need someone else guiding them into their marriage. So why, or for that matter, what could be some of the reasons why couples refrain from seeking premarital counseling?
Okay, here I want to again contextualize. I want to focus on our community. Yeah, you're right. Despite the clear benefits of premarital counseling, many couples still avoid or ignore it, especially in our context, like where cultural expectations and traditions often shape on how we view marriage. So some of the primary reasons why couples avoid premarital counseling can be stigma and shame. Stigma and shame, because as I have stated earlier, counseling is a new concept, and many people associate counseling with problems or weaknesses, and the thing that why go for counseling? We're not fighting. That concept comes in, and there's also that fear that that others might think that something is wrong with their relationship. And second can be just being overconfident or just being naive, in the sense that some couples believe that love is enough, and that they will figure it out along the way, and that can be a real challenge, to come forward and seek premarital counseling. And the third can be lack of awareness. Lack of awareness in the sense that since it is new, the couples or the couples intending to get married, they don't know what to expect in premarital counseling, and that can be a hindrance to seek premarital guidance. And again, there is this fear of conflict in a counseling session. There's always that possibility of disagreements, and most couples avoid difficult conversations because they don't want to discover maybe disagreements before the wedding, and that fear can creep in, like while discussing those serious issues, it might lead to breakup as well. And then again, there is this lack of trained counselors, and in our state, there are quite a handful of counselors, but not much. So the trust that we have with the counselors, it is less, and we are not much exposed to that as well. So even the churches don't have proper counseling programs. Only some basic prayer sessions, spiritual guidances, and so on. So all those factors can be all those things can be an added factor for the couples to avoid premarital therapy, counseling therapy.
Well, thank you so much, Emily. Thank you. I think the points that you have highlighted are very genuine, and knowing those hindrances has already solved part of the problem. Like you have said, oftentimes we tend to associate counseling with problems, and I think we really need to talk about it so that those misconceptions and those misunderstandings are removed out of the way, so that couples can without any stigma or any fear approach counselors seeking for premarital counseling. And keeping in mind that Nagaland is very much a Christian state, all of our marriage are based on Christian values, which means the church has a very important role to play in this area. So as you have stated very clearly, I think the churches in Nagaland can really step in and fill in the place where we are lacking, especially in terms of trained counselors, and really help out in this area for people who are entering into this lifelong commitment. So thank you so much for highlighting those things for us. Well, we know it is not in our power to bring people together, or for that matter, in fact, the Bible also very clearly states that what God has joined, let no man separate. And as a community of faith, I think we can really help one another out in maintaining the sanctity of marriage, and not trying to separate, or for that matter, break the marriages apart. You have already talked about reasons why couples shy away from seeking premarital counseling, and I think the concepts and the pointers that you have given are really crucial. So we have also talked about the lack of properly trained counselors, and we have also talked about how the churches can fit in. But for a couple intending to get married and really looking for some directions or looking for some advice on how to live out their marriage life, what are some of the advices, or how can we prepare them to face the challenges that they may possibly face in their life ahead?
Okay, the journey of marriage will not be easy, and then there are a lot of challenges, but one thing we have to remember is that marriage is a sacred covenant, and that requires love, patience, and forgiveness. And marriage is a union of two imperfect individuals, so there will be a lot of conflicts, and hurts are inevitable. So to navigate the challenges, I think a couple should prioritize open and honest communication, express feelings, and then discuss their expectation and accept their differences and understand each other. And in the midst of challenges, it's good if couple really prioritize God in their relationship, seeking His guidance, wisdom, and love.
Thank you so much, Manley. I think you're quite right when you say that marriage is a union of two imperfect individuals. That makes a lot of sense. Oftentimes we enter into marriage with unrealistic expectation. We're trying to find out the right partner, but we tend to forget that we have our own flaws, and that's where the problem can start. But the points that you have given, the communication and also keeping God at the center, if all of us can keep those things in mind, then I think it can really help us in fostering a healthy marriage. And also for people listening back at home, if you are intending to get married or are serious in a relationship, then I think we also need to be aware of in advance, before we make a serious lifelong commitment, the points that we have highlighted, that keeping God in the center, that we're all imperfect individuals, and also the fact that with the help of premarital counseling, so many of these problems can be avoided. Now, having said all that, if there is anyone listening out there looking for advice or some sort of encouragement for their life, especially for their married life, what one word of encouragement or advice would you like to leave them?
We believe that our life is a journey. Likewise, marriage is also another journey of laughter, learning, growth, adventure, and trusting God together with your partner. So embrace every moment, and then encourage each other's dreams, and focus on building a good habit such as prayer, forgiveness, and honest communication. So my advice for the young couples is that you will face a lot of challenges, but what we have to remember is that above all, remain humble and then willing to learn from each other, and prioritize God at the center of your relationship. Marriage is a beautiful journey, like our sister Manle said, and preparation is key. So take time to understand each other and communicate openly, and build a strong foundation of trust, respect, and love. Don't be afraid to seek help when you need help, and grow together.
With those words of encouragement and advice, we come to the end of today's discussion. But if they have already stated, life and marriage is a form of a journey, and just how well we live out, or for that matter, how pleasant or unpleasant this journey is, depend on just how much we're willing to invest time on each other. And I think we can prepare for this journey by listening to other people who have already gone on ahead of us. For sure, the experience may be different, but listening to the experiences can definitely give us some pointers, or give us some sense of the terrain that we'll be traveling in. And so premarital counseling in this context becomes very crucial and very necessary. I think it is one of the best gifts that we can give to one another, especially when we're entering into this lifelong commitment. I don't know about you, but after this discussion, definitely I'll be seeking premarital counseling before I enter into this lifelong commitment. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. This is 14th episode of S.A.L.T, sharing and learning together, talking on premarital counseling. Until the next time, stay safe and may understanding and love continue to grow in our relationship. Thank you.